Cities are becoming increasingly more vulnerable to the floods, heat waves, and the other climate-related risk, and will require over 2.4 trillion United States dollars in the investment by the 2050 to the building of the resilient and the low-carbon infrastructure, according to the World Bank report released on the Tuesday. Also, the report notes that the Indian cities hold a tremendous potential as the center of the economic growth, with the 70% of the new jobs coming from the cities by the 2030. However, the timely action is needed for the cities to deal with the impacts from the extreme weather events and avert billions of dollars in the future losses. The report, that is towards the resilient and prosperous cities in the India states. Also, the report, prepared in the partnership with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, stated that the annual economic losses from the rain-affected flooding are currently estimated at $4 billion. These are projected to rise to $5 billion by 2030 and between $14 and $30 billion by 2070 if no remedial action is taken. According to the reports, much of the urban expansion is occurring in the flood-prone and the heat-vulnerable areas. The report identifies also the areas vulnerable to the climate exchange, that is the Delhi, the China, that is also the Surat, the other cities in the India like Chennai, Lucknow, and other cities around the world like the China, Beijing, and also the United States that are exposed to the urban heat islands effect and the flood risk. Also, particularly due to the settlement expansion into the vulnerable areas in Delhi, the report highlights the risk linked to the rising temperatures, also the urban flooding. The heat stress is also expected to intensify between 1983 and 2016. Exposure to dangerous heat levels increased by 71% in the India's 10 largest cities, rising from 4.3 billion to 10.1 billion persons hour per year, the reports have added. Also, the report raised concerns about the heat-related death. If emission continues at current levels, annual heat-related death may rise from the 1,44,000 to more than 3,28,000 by 2050. Around 20% of working hours in the major Indian cities could be lost due to the high heat stresses. The condition also have been very bad, it says. Heat mitigation alone could increase India's GDP by up to 0.4% and save up to 1,30,000 lives annually by 2050, the report states. According to the reports, the country's urban projected population will be around 1.1 billion by the 2070. More than 144 million new urban homes will be required, doubling the current housing stock, the report states.